temperature of the car, and it must be a test of driving skill. The newly completed Mt Panorama circuit fulfilled these ideals, and the legend of Mt Panorama was born.
Wow.
One of the first genuine road racing circuits in New South Wales, it is a true road circuit with elevated twisting sections interlinked with fast undulating straights. Formed at Peter Brock. In 1968, the Bathurst 100 returned to Mt Panorama after a 4-year absence, and once again the roar of engines was heard on the mountain. This was the year the face of racing at Mt Panorama changed, as advertising was
not just 200 tracks, they had about 100 on the track.
The endurance race carried the name Hardy. The race was dominated by the new Australian-built Holden Monaro.
Holden.
The first few years of the decade saw some significant moments. 1972 was Peter Brock's first win at Bathurst, beginning a reign that would have him winning the great race a total of 9 times. Series production car racing ended as it merged with touring cars. The distance of the race was increased to 1,000 kilometres, and it became mandatory to have 2 drivers per car. 1974 saw the Easter meeting turned over solely to motorcycles. In 1986, Alan Grimes, described as the best driver ever to win Bathurst, finally overturned his bad luck, and after 16 tries, crossed the line first in a colony. The 1987 race, James Hardy's 20th and last anniversary of its involvement with the race, was shrouded in controversy after the first and second place winning Texaco Ford Sierra team were disqualified for illegally modifying their cars. The first year of the 90s heralded a number of firsts. Fred Gibson, the first driver to win at Bathurst in a V8 car almost a quarter of a century ago, now became the team boss of the first Japanese car and first turbocharged all-wheel drive ever to win Bathurst. Brock drove his last 1,000-kilometre race on the circuit he had made his own for almost 30 years. Fellow race legend Dick Johnson also bowed out in 1999, driving his last race as the century closed. The year 2006 will go down in the history of Mt Panorama as one of its most significant. It was the year that we lost the king of the mountain, Peter Brock. Family and friends and a huge army of Holden and Ford fans were in deep shock as they heard the news that Brocky had died in a racing car accident in Western Australia.
Hit a tree.
The annual V8 event at Mt Panorama in October of 2006 therefore commemorated Peter Brock's life. His famous car being signed by all the drivers and fans. At the very top of Mt Panorama, beside the S-bend, like ancient indigenous cave markings, the invisible members of the Holden family have left their own personal marks as a tribute to Brocky, R.I.P. The truth is, there is no real king of the mountain. The king is the mountain itself. Driving quietly around the mountain circuit, you can sense the spirit of generations of racing families. Hinton, Brabham, Johnson, Perkins, and new generations of motorbike and motorcar racing champions. As we move into the 21st century, racing at Mt Panorama continues to grow and prosper as it has since 1938. From the dirt track days of Whitehead to the world-class events held today, the changes to the machines, the sport and the circuit itself have been many. But one thing remains the same. Every driver that comes to this famous circuit every year will be there to face the new challenge that is Mt Panorama.
Those cars. Some cloth showed us to Heathcliff's cars, to Ian Sim. Ian Sim from Ross and Sever, and Ian was done up in Morris Minor. Show your video to them. look at that. They were a good car. Bronwyn had that, the first car. Really good. And that's a 4-door one. And Wayne got it, he probably wrecked it. It's a Benton, get that. That's a classic. B.C. Benton. Mr. Brock had one of those when he died. Mrs. Brock had the horses down Ash Street. And that's a sidecar. The latest sidecar. Speedway. Get this. The Triumph and Bill Warner. And this here is a Triumph. Brian had a Triumph. It's a sidecar. They were green because they had motocross bikes.
It really might have been.
Show this here to Australian stock car. At me. Stinks.
In front of that.
Brian had a matchless. Brian had motorbikes. This later, but AJS. Popped up. All the time. Stock car. It's a stock car. What is the back ticket block? All this. Barry Sharp. That's Barry Sharp. I know Barry Sharp.
Who's Barry Sharp?
He's donated to the museum. Barry Sharp. He's a racing car driver.
Died. That's the bloke who died.
Sierra, which was driven by Neville Crichton off the start. He made up that gap, he lost over the top of the mountain. And that's
you can see at the back, it's the racing. An aerial, Ryan had one of those, an aerial and a Triumph. Get those there, really can't get those now.
So Camargue got him half finished him off. Look at the other guys pushing right through. They all stopped as well.
Oh, James Ward, this is a good little second place. Is certainly still up for grabs. It was a great day.
It's a Jaguar popped up. Jags.
Championship in second place. Great effort for the youngster.
Absolutely.
It certainly is. Not only probably one of the biggest margins we've seen in any Aussie racing car race was a victory.
Jaguar, that's a good Jag.